Welcome to Watchman. This is a platform demo of the Watchman system as it is now in its pre-launch post-prototype stage. In this video, we'll take you through the platform, show you most of the principal features, and then we'll conduct a real-world, real-time demo to show how Watchman reacts and responds to one of the websites that it's monitoring having a critical problem. In this demo, you'll see components from both our phase 1 SiteWatch product and our intended phase 2 ServerWatch product. But we'll explain the differences and we'll show you what those products are as we move through the demo. So let's start by logging into the portal application, which is what clients and customers would see first when they access Watchman. So the initial screen that you'll see, the initial landing page for a customer is the dashboard. Dashboard provides high level, the critical alerts that are related to assets, so websites, web servers that are managed for that particular client. And then underneath that, a list of what we call assets. So this is websites, web servers, other application servers, whatever kind of device components are being actively monitored by SiteWatch. And then there's some details, initial details about each component, the platform detail, system, maybe the role of the site, and the status that it's in. So the fact that it's up, it's operational and not down, as in not working. The health status with a list of any warnings, issues, advisory, information about that particular device, the date it was activated, and a number of other things like the platform, if we know it, particularly those products that have got the ServerWatch software package agent installed on them will be able to detect things like the operating system and the major software components on that device. And whereas SiteWatch, which is agentless and is doing monitoring remote from the network, has less visibility over those assets, clearly. So SiteWatch and ServerWatch, two distinctly separate components, but part of the same combined base. Our phase 1 release, the product we're looking to release to market soon, is SiteWatch. SiteWatch is fully remote. We have a network of monitoring stations that are monitoring these digital assets remotely. No software involved, no software installed on the device or on the web server. It's all happening hands-off. ServerWatch is much more detailed component, and we've actually built most of the functionality and back end for ServerWatch, and the assets that you see here are being managed, demo assets being managed by ServerWatch using our agent components. But those are not really ready for production release, and we really want to get SiteWatch out there, phase 1, and then work on phase 2 to make a fully rounded product. ServerWatch is far more detailed. That will be able to conduct security analysis, intrusion detection, so detecting if somebody is attempting to access the system without authorization. It will also monitor the firewalls, the security components of those assets, as well as recognize what software is installed, what software is being used to run, like as in this example, Magento, which is an e-commerce platform, and be able to understand the health of those systems. SiteWatch is monitoring at the higher level and monitoring the actual the website itself. And what's quite unique about SiteWatch is the fact that it will allow a client to monitor multiple website components. So whereas other products out there on the market that are somewhat similar to SiteWatch will typically only monitor the homepage URL. They'll monitor one URL per website. SiteWatch is capable of monitoring multiple ones. And it will pick up things like key components like customer login, a product page, as we've got in this case, where it's great to know that your website is up and your homepage is running, but that doesn't actually help you if the customer login page is down or the product pages are broken. So SiteWatch has far more capability of monitoring multiple elements of one website to ensure the entire website is healthy and productive. So that's a SiteWatch component. On this page here, we're seeing this particular site has both SiteWatch and ServerWatch agents on it. And because it has ServerWatch agents, we can also monitor the health of the resources. So that's the hardware resources. In this case, we've got a warning and a red traffic light here. And the reason for that in this case is that our agent has detected that the disk space on this server is being used up. There's very little disk space left. One impact of that is if the disk space completely runs out, the server will simply stop working. The website will cease functional. So it's a critical warning. It's a critical component. We're able to access things like the memory, the CPU. In the future, we'd like to include power consumption. So we'd like to be able to look at the power consumption of the server or the device, and actually be able to provide advice and warnings about excessive power consumption. And then what we can do here is that we can track history of some of those components. So in this case, we're looking at the hard drive, and we can see that steadily, probably we're looking at, January was when the site was first launched, steadily the amount of disk space is being used up. So this customer needs to either clear down, maybe there's excessive backups or copies of things or images or something, or the client needs to go and talk to his hosting provider or whoever and get more disk space, because it's getting to be pretty critical there. So now we can go back and have a look at how SiteWatch is also monitoring the same website. So here we're seeing the website performance statistics that SiteWatch is pulling back, and that's uptime. So that's showing that the server's been consistently up, at least for the last 24 hours, and performance. And this is like showing the average performance for those pages that were being monitored. And then we can drill into that. So we can drill in here and we can see the individual page performance for each of those web pages that we've set up monitoring for. And Watchman principally lies on what we consider as key performance indicators. So page size, largest image is there as an indicator of what's running, what's consuming quite a lot of space on that web page. Time to load for a desktop and time to load for a mobile. So that's the time it takes for the full page to load on a desktop and a mobile device. Page size is significant because that tells you the weight of the page overall. Largest image is useful factor because we've got experience where websites have been built for clients that have been very perfect, optimized, highly optimized, very low page weight, very fast load times, and then we've seen that degrade over time. And one of the major significant causes that is that somebody, an administrator, a web manager, or whatever, has been making changes to the content on the website, loading new hero banners, new images, product images, and those have not been optimized. And that's a significant effect on performance. So it's kind of a little key indicator we can put in there. Let's just capture the largest image that's being loaded on that website, and it kind of gives us a clear picture. Bing, it looks like you're not using optimized images, and by far, even when you look at page speed insights from Google and stuff, it's quite clear that images actually probably have the biggest impact in terms of page loading. So we have these core key performance indicators, and again, we can track them over 24 hours, over longer periods, so we can get a sense for the trend. Is the website gradually getting slower? Is it actually pretty staying consistent? Does it slow down at certain times? So that might even be indicating that actually it's not the way the page itself or the website itself. It might be the web server is not coping. Friday night, page speed drops. That's probably less an indication of something to do with the website and more to do with something underneath it. So this is all important and useful information that we can capture to be able to review and understand, or a client to understand exactly what's going on with their website. Now we can flip over to SiteWatch and actually show you more or less the same interface, but this is the one that's purely for SiteWatch products. In this case, we do have some assets here that are ServerWatch assets. In our phase 1 release, it would be pure SiteWatch products. Again, the same effect. You don't see the traffic lights health sections because there are no agents installed here. This is all remote monitoring. But we're able to show, again, website performance, website uptimes, and then we can look at some of the other components that we've got. So these are other websites and assets that we've got being monitored by SiteWatch. And then we can show you here one of our assets. It's the demo web server, and actually that's kind of important because that's one. It's healthy right now, but that's the one that later on in this video we'll demonstrate by deliberately turning that web server off, bringing it down, and then watching to see how Watchman reacts and if it successfully picks up the fact that that site has been disabled. Now we'll briefly look at a couple of other components to Watchman. One, it's the audit and security aspects of the application. So one key feature is the fact that all use of Watchman is audited right the way through the system. We believe that security is critical, particularly when you're going to have an application like this that is effectively monitoring and managing multiple other applications. And then the second feature is the Vault. So Vault is a secure area that we built into Watchman that allows our clients and customers to safely store critical kind of configuration and system information. We've got a lot of experience in the past of web managers and agencies and clients finding it quite difficult to find places to store critical information like user account, passwords and usernames to the admin back end of a website, or the URL that's used to access the admin panel, or some configuration details required for FTP access, for example. So Vault is being deliberately built to be somewhere where clients can safely store those components in one logical place and avoid the horror of storing them on bits of paper or on spreadsheets, or, as we've seen clients do frequently, sort of having to store this kind of critical information somewhere. They store it here. The Vault is secured. It's also audited. Every step of this is audited. Access to the Vault is audited. So anybody accesses the Vault, that's automatic, creates an audit log. And any information stored in here, so the login key, the password, the username, can only be accessed by copying it from the system. So you can copy it. And any any copying that's done is also audited. So you can clearly see as a client who it is who's accessed that configuration data and used it. So obviously in most cases, that's logically, it's going to be your web manager or a member of your team that's doing that. Another key feature of Watchman is that regardless of what subscription package a client is on, they will always have access to all of the key features of the system. So our subscription packages restrict perhaps the number of assets you can monitor, a number of URLs you can monitor on the SiteWatch, but they don't restrict any access to any of the system's features. That means that even a subscriber who's only having one website monitored, small company, small digital agency, whatever, is allowed to have as many users as they want. So you can have as many users who have monitoring access, who have access to the portal, who can receive alerts as you want, regardless of your subscription package. So what I want to do now is go back to our demo server, here, the demo web server, and as you can see, it's sitting up. And now we're going to run through our demo where we'll actually bring that website down, and then we'll see how Watchman reacts to that and what kind of feedback we get. So our first step will be, so I'm just going to switch over to one of our hosting providers that's actually hosting this website. And then we're going to deliberately turn the server off in order to simulate a website crash. So I'm switching over now to our cloud hosting provider, who is running the demo website, and then I'm just going to shut that server down just to simulate a website failure, and then we'll see now how Watchman reacts to. So I've now given the system actually a couple of minutes for the server to shut down, for Watchman to start reacting, and it may take a little while. So it's been about 5 minutes or so. And here we go. So we've just seen the critical alerts come up showing that demo site is down. And then we should be able to look into the asset, drill into the asset from there, and we'll see that there's a warning alert now on that asset, and that warning will be telling you that the server is unresponsive, that the website is down. And then, in fact, if you drilled into that, you would be able to see that the performance or uptime performance shows that the site is actually no longer responding. And then the final step after that would be that Watchman should also have fired out an email alert to me, to my email address, to alert me that there has been a server down. And there we have our critical alert telling me that web server demo Watchman systems is down. And there we go. So thank you for watching our demo. If you have any questions, please do reach out to us